What's going on? Welcome to the scent
Bubble.
My,
will be your host for today.
I will be your host for today. Hey, listen, I got Miles in here, but unfortunately I can't zoom out to show you. Got my boy with me, one of my boys, one of my little shrimps. Got himself a bald fade today. Daddy liked that. So guys, real quick, I want to spitball with y'all real quick, throw some ideas at you about the Eau De Toilette. And I'm going to think of a crafty name to put in the title, because let me tell you guys something right now, right here. The Eau De Toilette is not getting proper representation and respect in the space right now. I know a lot of you guys, certain words like projection and longevity have ruined your perception of the real value of the Eau De Toilette. And I'm guilty of this. I am so guilty. In theory, you would think maximizing a projective experience and a long-term experience is a no-brainer, no questions asked. Yes, give that to me, max it out all the time. But I'm going to tell you many reasons, not in a later video, but this one, you know how we do in the car talks. I try not to over exaggerate and make love to the track, but I'm gonna show you guys a lot of reasons why y'all need to start buying EDTs. Okay, so the first practical and easy scenario is that sometimes you're in an environment where you're not trying to be the center of attention, or you are the center of attention but people are very close to you. And in that regard, a super projective, super long-lasting fragrance is really just choking out the room and it's stinking up the scene. There's a way to command attention and to be noticed without doing much. And that you can apply that not even to fragrance. There's a way you can walk in a room and look like the most important person in the room, but literally be doing nothing. And your fragrance can serve that same intention and goal. And there's scenarios where that's absolutely appropriate. Biggest case in point you guys know of me as it relates to Eau De Toilettes is a fragrance like La Nuit de l'Homme, original YSL L'Homme, the king of Netflix and chill. You want to be smelled. You want to smell special. You want to communicate with your fragrance, but you don't want to choke somebody out. You also want a low sillage that can be felt, not smelt, meaning they smell a little bit of it and they have to get close to experience it in full. This is one of the reasons why I love the House of Lalique. Most of what they do is Eau De Toilette. They do have a lot of Eau De Parfum, but much of what they do, even in Eau De Parfum concentration, hits like Eau De Toilettes and is much weaker. You do have to reapply it if you want to have longevity, but most of the time you're trying to be quietly special, if that makes sense. Scenarios, work, close proximity work, where you're trying to look professional and you want the fragrance to complement you and put you in a certain light, but you're not trying to dominate a space. Netflix and chill, gatherings that are, mom's calling me right now, gatherings where people are so all up in your space. Maybe you're going out and you're not trying to waste projection and longevity because you want more of a fresher take. Here's another kicker that you guys aren't thinking, or classroom, school. Here's another thing you guys aren't thinking about. What I'm realizing in my journey at this point is that a lot of times the Eau De Toilette will have the richer, fuller experience because of the concentration being toned down, allowing other notes to sing and shine. I know we tend to think that the parfum is the richer and fuller experience, but a lot of times with that richness, you get a certain amplification of certain notes that literally just chokes out other notes and dominates a fragrance. A perfect example of that is the House of Guerlain. If you want the original scent profile of what a lot of those classic creations did, The Eau De Toilette is the closest thing to the original. And the other aspect I wanted to say was that in the parfum, it's not only a matter of sometimes a certain note being ramped up for the richer experience, but also the fragrance gets less bright. It has less of a diffusiveness. It's not as airy. It's not as bright. And sometimes you want a version of that. Case in point, by Killian Straight to Heaven, one of the sexiest fragrances ever, though it doesn't last that long. It is a dense, weighty fragrance. But what if you want patchouli in a light, airy, heady headspace to sing in a much quieter projection, but still be loud and bright and have a brighter approach and a different mood? You might want a fragrance like Diptyque's Tempo, or Ex Nihilo's Patchouli Memory, a much more heady, bright patchouli that accentuates many other notes. Whereas in Straight to Heaven, it's dominated by a kind of cacao, patchouli, sweet experience. And it wears much thicker. It wears you almost. Even though it's a quieter, short-lived fragrance, still, comparatively to the other fragrances I just named, it's a different weight. The Eau De Toilette weight is essential in perfumery. What were you going to say?
Mom said to drop me off at Almost.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, if I'm finding myself with the House of Guerlain, at one point I was trying to get Heritage or Heritage, Vetiver, Habit Rouge, L'Instant de Guerlain, L'Homme Ideal. I was looking for them in parfum because people said, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is the richer experience. But then I went and tested them out. And even though lighter and headier, the Eau De Toilettes actually smelled more bodied, more well-rounded, more other notes get shine. So you get more complexity in the Eau De Toilette, even though the parfum was richer, because in the parfums, it would just be a serious boost in ambroxan or in a particular note or synthetic. And that made certain notes stick out like a sore thumb and mono-noted the fragrance. The Eau De Toilette needs respect, needs to be on your shelf. The Eau De Toilettes can fulfill a certain thing that EDP's Parfums Extraits Intensos Extremes can never fulfill. What was I going to say about that as well? Another thing that we're going to talk about later is just the fact that not all Eau De Toilettes are weak. Good case in point with that Versace Eros. It's an Eau De Toilette that lasts at least 8 to 10 hours on my skin. Now, people might argue with that fragrance that the parfum's richer, the EDP lasts longer, and the EDT's the weakest. But here's two factors nobody talks about. Number one, because the EDT came out first, it's the cheapest. You can get 100 ml of Versace Eros sealed for $35 today, 2026. That might change, but today it's the cheapest fragrance you can get out of those concentrations because it's the oldest. Now, the second point, which to me is even more compelling outside of price, and that's that, to me, the EDT's richer than the parfum. To me, it's not a thicker smell. It has a little bit less body, but you get a more detailed scent experience, a sensory experience that's heightened because the Eau De Toilette allows other notes in the fragrance to get accentuated. It's not just dominated by vanilla and apple. You get more of the lavender, more of the aromatics. It's a more brighter scent to me, and I prefer that. And yet, I don't have to sacrifice performance. So that's another thing, is that not all fragrances sacrifice performance in the Eau De Toilette concentration. I want you guys to rethink Eau De Toilettes because I think since the public perception of Eau De Toilettes as being weaker, less fuller scents is the thing, that you guys can get in on a lot of super affordable, super knockdown prices for Eau De Toilettes. And so there's practical reasons in terms of you don't always need longevity or projection. So a lot of times you get a more detailed scent, more of an original scent if there was a previous version, because it's a more spectrumed scent profile. And then it's more cost effective. There's other components to that, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm finding myself with many houses, Lalique, Guerlain, and many others, that the Eau De Toilettes smell better, point blank period. And so, yes, there's a lot of times that the Eau De Toilette concentration isn't appropriate, or you want more punch, or you want something to last long, or even in many cases, yes, sometimes the EDP in parfum is better or richer, seemingly. But in many cases, that's not the case. So I want you guys to rethink that. A lot of Eau De Toilettes, even from the house of Diptyque, for instance, speak in a different way. I used to think, oh, I don't never give me an EDT. I want more of a bigger body, more bigger smell. Nope. House of Diptyque, the Eau De Toilettes are amazing. They have a crazy level of complexity because of their concentration, and you get a fuller, richer scent experience, even if it has an expiration on it quicker. And you can always reapply. We've talked about this. Definitely check out my video on ways to make your fragrances eternal. And let's push this conversation a little bit. Sound off in the comments, guys. What are some Eau De Toilettes that you don't mind that they're EDTs and you prefer them in your collection? I want you guys to list these fragrances in the comments section below. I'll go ahead and list some as well in the comments section, and let's get this conversation going. But I think the Eau De Toilette is super slept on and has super practical application in your collection for a ton of reasons that you aren't considering. So yeah, let's talk about it. This is the Scent Bubble. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I'll throw a couple videos up for you guys to keep, binge watching the content. We're doing really well right now. A lot of crazy engagement is going on. Join the free Discord in the description below. And until next time, love y'all, man. God bless.